What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the TC Trading channel. So in today's video, we're going to be going over Bollinger Bands and how you can use these to your advantage, how they work, how they're calculated, and then of course how we can overlay this on the Webull platform here. That's a platform, of course, we're going to be using for many other brokers. It's going to be very, very similar. So really quick, using Fidelity's description of what these actually are. So Bollinger Bands, they're essentially used as an envelope. So here's like a little picture example, how we can kind of see a middle line, and then we have kind of like an envelope. We have an upper line and a lower line that kind of follow that middle line throughout the price action. And what that middle line is generally it's the 20-period simple moving average, okay? Now, what you usually will have with the Bollinger Bands is that you'll see a standard deviation of 2 to the north and to the south of that 20 periods of moving average. And you can, of course, adjust these settings, which we'll show you how to do in just a few seconds. And so why this is really helpful is because many times you'll see some volatile stocks and you'll see some volatile price action. And it can be really helpful to kind of use these bands to give you kind of the upper range and the lower range of the volatility. And so if you're noticing a trend or a direction on a given day, it'll help you identify a potential area for an entry or where you should be selling your position. And so you can kind of ride the price action up or down by using these bands to help you out in directing you, right, as to, you know, where the price action will go, where the stock may push off, where it may bounce, and where it may get rejected at. So now let's actually use this on a given stock. And what we're going to do is we're going to be using SPCE, at least when we're filming this video. I'm going to get rid of all my other indicators, and we're just going to use these bands. Now we can really see how this works, and this is kind of more of a tutorial style, and then we'll dive into using this into some of the price action. So what we can notice right now, we can go to the edit section of our indicator. So on Webull, top left, little icon that says indicators, they're under the BOLL. That's what you'll click on, and then it will pull up the Bollinger Bands. But if you have not already confirmed the settings, you'll need to do that. So you go to the Edit Indicators tab right here, and then click on BOLL. Make sure that it is checked, and then once it's checked, it will show up on your chart. Now we can do the inputs. So we have right now this length. That's going to be that simple moving average. So if I adjust this, let's say to 10, we're going to get a different look on the chart. If I adjust it to, let's say 50, we're going to get different moving averages. And so the way you want to think of the moving average, and it's really helpful, the larger the number, the kind of slower the volatility, right? The less volatile the moving average will be in terms of kind of that up and down movement. So if I make this a 5, let's say if I make this a 5, the minimum is a 5, we can kind of see that, boom, just like that, it's pretty, you know, it's kind of riding very close to where the price action is. But the larger I make that simple moving average, right, the kind of larger the variations, the slower the movements are, right? Because we're taking a bigger sample size, right? So we're really getting a big view of what's going on. So the standard look for the Bollinger Bands is to use a 20-period simple moving average, and of course you can use this on different time frames. Now when it comes to the width, this is going to be adjusting the width of the bands to the top and to the bottom. So essentially you're adjusting the standard deviation. Okay, so if I was to use, let's say, a 1, we're going to go 1 standard deviation to the upside and to the downside from that middle 20-period simple moving average. If I was to go to a 2, which is the standard settings, that'll be 2 standard deviations from that middle 20-period simple moving average. Okay, so that's how you do that. We'll use those main settings, or I guess the standardized settings. Of course, you can always change this to fit whatever you like, right? Now we'll use this, and we'll go to Style. This is where you can now change the colors. If I wanted to change the colors of my middle band, then I can come in here and do so. Maybe I want to make the middle band white, and I can go and do so that way. It's up to you. It really depends upon what settings you like. If you want to change your upper band to, let's say, you want to use like a green to kind of indicate, you know, highs, right, upper, maybe that's a color that works best for you, then maybe that works for you. Then maybe you want to use like a red, for example, for the bottom band to kind of indicate a low. Maybe that works best for you, and we can go off of those settings right there. Then also on Webull, they'll give you a little introduction, which will pretty much exactly cover what I just mentioned at the beginning of the video, and it will pretty much say the exact same thing. But of course, if you're curious on some other indicators, it's a great way to go and kind of learn about some of these indicators if you don't know what they are, and you want to maybe, you know, add them to your chart or experiment with them. So now everything's done. Let's click on Done, and now we have our settings. So as of right now, what we can see is we're looking at SPCE, and we're looking at the 1 year, 1 day chart. And what we can see is that in a downtrend, we can see that the Bollinger Bands, what you're going to be looking at is SPCE is really respecting that 20-period simple moving average, this white line the past couple of months. It's respecting this white line as resistance as it has gone below. When it fell below back here at the end of February, when a lot of high growth got hit, it fell below that level, and it's been respecting that as resistance. And guess where support's roughly been? Support has roughly been the bottom of the Bollinger Band. So the lower band, which would be that 2 standard deviations below that 20-period simple moving average. And look at that, it's pretty much held up very, very nicely to the downside as an area that it has held up as kind of support now in a sense. And then of course, what we're seeing right now is we've had some recent positive news. We've seen an influx in volume. And so right now, SPCE has broken back to the upside, and it's indicating more of a bullish kind of move here as it's now broken above that 20-period simple moving average and is pushing to the north, right? It's pushing up to the upside. So hopefully that's making some sense. And let's dive into the 1-day, 1-minute chart. We can actually now follow this on a different time frame. So we're seeing a very similar thing. Now, of course, on the 1-day, 1-minute chart, you're going to see some more variability, right? We're going to see some more volatility, but it's still kind of been roughly helpful. We've been kind of seeing how it's been bouncing back and forth between the upper band and the lower band pretty much all day. Of course, it's going to track it as it moves, but we can kind of see it gets a little overextended once it gets towards that upper band, and then it comes back down towards the lower band. And it's generally today has been a time to pick up some shares to go long and ride the stock even higher, as the overall trend since about 11:30 a.m. has been to the upside. It has been bullish. So if we're looking at it right now, it's starting to get overextended yet again, and it could be an area you would like to be selling into this if you're kind of day trading and getting in and out, right? You can be selling into it. And as we're speaking, right, we're seeing a red candle developing right now, and it looks like it may want to pull back at least down towards that 20-period simple moving average in the near term at some point relatively soon. Now, of course, Bollinger Bands, they're not end all be all. They are not the best indicator. They're not the perfect indicator, but they're helpful. It's another tool to add to your tool belt that could be a guide that you can use to predict the future price action and to help plan your own trades. I hope this video was simple, to the point, and helpful. If it was, all we ask is a thumbs up, a like on the video. If you like these types of tutorial style videos, make sure to subscribe here. We're posting a couple times per week going over videos just like this. Also, there'll be links down below to get 2 free stocks with the Webull platform. Links down below to get 2 free stocks up to $1,850. As we're seeing right now, SPCE is still at the top of those, at that top band right there. So we'll see. It looks like it's getting overextended. And obviously, there are other indicators you can use as well, like the RSI to indicate overextension. But look at it go right now. It is really pushing on up, and it's been very, very bullish as of late. So any pullbacks here seem to be good dip buy opportunities. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Grab those links down below, get those bonuses, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.